Hey, what's up, people? How's it going there? Hi. We're at about 2004, 2005 right now, and they're still posting my information on the internet, trying to get me arrested. They're not using this information to come and beat me up or anything like that. And I meet up with R.E. Now, R.E. is a graffiti writer that was writing with Joner and, well, Joner's J-O-N-E-R and F-E. TNC. And I forget how we met. I believe Feck, TFV, introduced us. And well, I mean, we talked on the computer a little bit and stuff like that. Started writing graffiti. So he's like, yo, man, you know, I want to get up a lot like one and everyone and shit. And I said, all right, well, you pretty much got the Bronx already. And I said, I'm actually interested in the same thing. So I said, but what I want to do is, I got these people that are bugging me on these computers. And I said, they're a bunch of nobodies. They haven't wrote graffiti in over 20 fucking years. And they're really going out of their way to try and get me in trouble. So I want to prove them the opposite. And I want to go fucking buck wild out there. I want to tear shit up. And probably going to cause a lot of problems. We're going to get a lot of heat. And just about, you can safely assume that just about every single graffiti writer that they arrest and catch from this point forward, they're going to ask them, who the fuck is this RD? Who the fuck is this RE? That's what the police are going to do. And you can't do shit like we're about to do and be some social butterfly on the internet. You can't fuck with these graffiti writers, man. I begged them, actually. I told them, I said, listen, they don't give a fuck about you. They're just a bunch of fucking used up has-beens, man. Like, that's the bottom line, man. Just stay focused, man. The only thing that shit'll do to you is fuck with your focus, you know? And you don't need it. You don't need the problems, man. I told them, like, you know, you want to fuck with me, you can't be fucking with none of them other writers, man, because I ain't getting down like that, man. I really don't like anyone. I honestly don't like any of these people who are out there doing graffiti. I think they all suck. All these people on the computer are all like fat slobs and shit that, like, pretty much sitting there thinking about the glory days, writing graffiti when they were young and shit, and jumped around the clubs and shit. But at this point, they're all like bald, fat, 9-to-5 motherfuckers, you know. And you know, this is a funny thing. I did this video 3 times. This is my 3rd time, and it's Saturday morning. I did it on Thursday, and I'll tell you, it was like fucking an hour long. And I rant about this shit with this internet still. And the people who are putting this shit on there, and I'm like, oh, I guess you guys don't want to hear all that shit. So I cut it short Thursday, and then Friday, tried to do it again, and happened again. Like, I just, yo, that's a very touchy situation for me. And now here it is, Saturday morning, and I'm trying to just steer away from that and get to what I did. I mean, it is important so you realize the obstacles that I am dealing with while writing graffiti. I started writing a bunch of graffiti with Ari at this point. We wrote for 12 years straight. I had a problem in the world. No problems really I could think of. I mean, there's always a close call and shit like that, stupid stuff. And, you know, a few accidents would fall or something like that. But yeah, very good writer, very good dude, man. Yeah, I miss him, man. He passed away. He was a good guy. Now, he was also very crafty. I'm going to tell you a story about him with the Bruckner. Now, the Bruckner is like a highway, an expressway or something like that, that runs from the beginning of the Bronx all the way up. Now, along this Bruckner, you have an upper deck and a lower deck that runs at street level. So on the street level side, Ari would get a cooler, like an igloo cooler that you would bring to a picnic to keep your sodas and shit like that cold. You put ice in it, a big blue and white plastic thing. You put the ice in it, you throw your cans of soda in it, and it keeps your soda cold. Well, he would take this cooler with no ice. He'd buy maybe 12 bottles of water from a supermarket, and he'd go to this Bruckner. All in that container, it would have all this spray paint. Fill it, a bunch of spray paint. And he would go on the Bruckner, like you'll see the Bruckner, like I said, it's a highway, it's up in the Bronx, or an expressway, or interstate, I have no idea. But what people do is they sell water. When you get stopped at a light, and you're on the down part going up, and you're in the streets of the Bronx, South Bronx and shit, you get stopped at a light every so often. And when you get stopped at these lights, you got people out there that will sell you like mango. They cut the mango up, they put a little tamarind sauce in there, a little hot sauce, and a little plastic sandwich bag, and you give them a couple of dollars out your car window, they give you it, and you can eat it. They also got people out there that are selling water. You got people that sell sugar cane too, a nice little strip of sugar cane, this, that, and you give them a couple of dollars, they give you some sugar cane. And they're like vendors that walk around. Also, you had like squeegees that would wash your car windows. But that's going back a bit more. It's going back to like the 80s and shit. The squeegees were washing the windows. Yeah, that was back in the 80s, man. I remember all them dudes with TFA, man. Near my house, TFA, the graffiti crew. All them dudes with squeegees. Back in the days, the 59th Street Bridge where the tramway is. And also 60th, 61st, you know. But anyway, what Ari would do is he'd fill up this igloo ice container, and he would bring it on the highway with a bunch of spray paint. And when the cars are stopped, he'd be like, water, water. He'd even have a little sign. He'd have it in Spanish, you know, agua, this, that, blah, 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 blah. And it would be a little piece of cardboard. You'd write on it with a magic marker, water, $1 a bottle, whatever the fuck it was. And when the light changed and the people would stop at this light, he would say, hey, water, 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 get your water here, you know. And people would buy water or they wouldn't. The light would change, they'd go. So now as they're gone, that flow of traffic is heading north. He's got these beams, and like I said, he writes tall, so he just stands right in front of these fucking beams, and he does an R.E. And I swear, man, he did that shit on every single fucking beam all the way up, and several times, man. Like, yeah, they buff it, he'd just do it again. They buff it, he'd just do it again, man. Yeah, that's just one little trick he had. It was pretty fancy. I went with him once doing that shit, and I got bored, man. I'm like, fuck out of here with this shit. Because he'll do it in broad daylight on a Sunday morning. He didn't give a fuck, man. That dude, he had some balls. He was a very intelligent human being. You know, he's passed away now, but very, very intelligent, man. Had a very good vocabulary. He was a school teacher, actually. Yeah, very, very intelligent human being. Very nice. Did a lot of community work for communities and homeless people. And, that dude was a very nice dude, man. He was a cool guy, man. Yeah, it's sad that he had passed away. Like, he's done so much like community outreach and shit like that. He wasn't like some me motherfucker that only thought of himself and shit. He was a very caring, loving dude, man. Ari was a good dude, man. Yeah. It's sad when he passed away, you got all these assholes on the internet putting all this nasty shit, you know, about his death and this and that, and being disrespectful. And that's why me, myself, I didn't post, you know, rest in peace or anything about the dude, because I didn't want to show weakness. I didn't want to give him any more ammunition to come at me with. And I'm not lying. You could Google this shit. You could go on your Instagram and hashtag RE357. You can see all the shit I put about him. It's just like people are like nobodies. Like, honestly, I think some of these people who were fucking back then, they're not even graffiti writers. Like, they're just some dude that's like, oh shit, there's that guy. Yo, I see that tag everywhere. Let me fuck with him. You know, and mainly that's pretty much what happens, I think. You know, because you could sift out through a few things if these people know what they're talking about or not, you know. Now, I'm really trying to keep this thing short. I tried to do this video a few times already. And I'm trying to keep it short because I just got so much fucking footage of me and Ari doing graffiti. Like, I mean, we spent 12 fucking years together. So I don't want to sit here blah, 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 you know, going on and on and on. And you guys might get tired when you see all the shit that comes after it. And I still haven't even decided if I'm going to put it, you know, I'm not going to crunch it all in this one. It would be impossible. It would be like hours and hours of shit. But yeah, we did a lot of fucking graffiti, man. He was good, man. He was a good dude, man. And yeah, for 12 years straight, we shut shit down. Like I was explaining to him, you know, I'm about to make it. So, like, we're going to be the talk of the town real fucking fast. And we were, man. We were just demolishing shit, man. Fucking all downtown financial area, the garment district, fucking Chinatown, Little Italy, what's left of Little Italy, like just Chelsea, fucking all the way up. You see, I have it pretty much what me and R.E. did is the same exact thing me and Just did. Like I was speaking before I went to Jamaica. I was jumping around with this guy, Just, DWC. And pretty much what I did with R.E., I did the same exact thing. And honestly, at this point, there's already less gates than there were with me and Just. So I believe with me and R.E., it was easier. It was easier to lock shit up real quick, man. It was really easy. I mean, I have a system that I do. It's worked for me. I wouldn't go as far as to say it's foolproof, but it's a way to know what you already did so you're not re-going, you know? And it seems to have worked for me. I've done it 3 different ways. This is probably my 4th time kinging Manhattan Island. And at this point, I really didn't get the Harlem too good this chance around because I was trying to stay on Front Street. Not to say Harlem's not Front Street. I love Harlem. But to say that it's, as far as it goes with the policing and community boards and stuff, yeah, I wanted to piss the people off downtown more. I wanted to get on the news again. You know, they'd be like, yo, this fucking dude RD. And yeah, that's it. Like at this point, I was pretty much just like, fuck it, man. Yeah, I'm a graffiti writer. You know, hello, my name is Robert Dyer, and I write graffiti. You know, like a fucking like AA meeting or something. But at this point, I was like, yo, now I'm not just a writer. I'm gonna be the writer. I'm gonna get this shit one more time. And I'm thinking to myself, at this point, if I pull this shit off, man, I pretty much am like all time, man. Yeah. And I did it. I did it with ease, man. It was with ease. There was no one out there. Like I said, all these old school cats, they're just on the computer trying to slow me down and get me arrested by putting my information on it. Of course, you know, they're threatening my life. They're going to do this to me. They're going to do that to me. But yet, like, I know people that know them, and, you know, they all got health problems and shit, like, and I see pictures, and I'm like, yeah, right. Fucking better pull out a gun on my ass, man. You know? And also at 37, 38, I really wasn't doing nothing wrong, criminal-wise. I was just writing graffiti. It was kind of like to keep my powder dry. It really got down to that. Like, I really wasn't committing no crime. I was doing good at my job. I was making money and shit like that. And yeah, at this point, you know, I kind of, I wouldn't say I matured. I just didn't have the need to put in work like that in the streets anymore. I was starting to get financially comfortable in the real world. So I didn't have to do that. Just like I explained before, I'm kind of like an opportunist. So it's like the motorcycle scheme. We were robbing and stealing motorcycles throughout my youth as a teenager and shit. Once LoJack came out, that was it. I said, well, I ain't fucking with that no more. Like all my people got locked up. The first time LoJack came out, they were grabbing all these people. You know? From John J. Park. I mean, most of them were out in Astoria, had space and properties and stuff like that. But yeah, shit got crazy. So yeah, I drop certain crimes and pick up other crimes, and you know. But at this point, I'm kind of like, yeah, there's no real reason for it. Like, you know, I got a child to think about. You know, like what the fuck? It's gonna like more problems than not, you know. So yeah, I really just concentrated on doing graffiti, and it's like, as I was writing this graffiti, I'm saying to myself, man, ain't no one been out there like this. Yeah, no, I was telling myself that. I was like, yo, at this point, I believe I'm the longest writing graffiti writer. Like I told you, the girl I was living with, Melissa, and them, and the question had come up about the Guinness Book of World Records and this and that. I'm like, I don't know. I said, maybe when I'm dead and buried, man. You guys remember that shit. Maybe when I'm dead and fucking buried. But, you know, I said, my story ain't done yet. So I never really went into it too far. But the thought stayed in my mind. Like, I could probably pull that shit off. Like, I don't see anyone else coming out after me. And at this point, I did have a bunch of new jacks out there that was starting to cross me out, like writers that was starting to write graffiti. But it was honestly, like I said, I was like 37, 38 years old. It was child abuse, like the shit that I was doing to these people. I had so many different people. Like, everyone was still crossing me out. Like, all the old crews, they would incorporate newer guys. You know what I mean? So yeah, I still had the same problems. Everyone was fucking tearing me up, trying to get me. But honestly, they weren't really getting me in the streets. They were just, the computer shit was fucking with me, and not because the cops could come and lock me the fuck up, but more because of the fact that they could do that, and then the people could accept it. Like the websites that this is being done on is not doing anything about it. Now, if you put something on about someone else, like if I told, say, this guy, we'll just call him, I don't know, Joey or Timmy or some shit. I say Timmy's mother sucks cock, they'll remove that shit. You know what I mean? But yet they could keep my full address and everything there, you know? So yeah, it was stacked against me. The cards were stacked against me. Like I explained, I really am trying to not go down that road, but it really did play a big part in this shit at this point, you know. So I said, you know something, fuck them. I'm just going to keep staying steady. I get arrested, I get caught. It's not the end of the fucking world. It's not like I'm going to wind up getting locked up to like 25 to life. Hard labor, you know. It's so crazy. What are they going to do? You know, fuck them. So I didn't really worry about it. But yeah, I kicked it up a notch with Ari, and I told him that, don't fuck with anyone else, man. You start fucking with these other writers, man, I don't want to know you, man, because none of them are up to any good, man. Like, that was my honest thoughts on graffiti. I've become racist towards graffiti writers. If it would be racist, would that be racist? If you hate on a group of people, I don't know. But yeah, I didn't like the movement, where it was going, where it was at, and who the players were. Like, yeah, at that point, I was honestly, like, on some, like, shit, like, to defunct everything that was ever created about graffiti. Seriously, I was trying to shut the shit down. Because everyone had made it their narrative, like, and I get that, because you have a lot of people out there that, like certain graffiti writers for certain reasons and this and that, and you got a lot of these people that are at these websites and these interviews and stuff where they lie, you know. It's like, yeah, I stole, what? I went in this store once and I took 1,000 cans of spray paint and I stuck them all down my pants. And I walked out, and then we went and we hit this yard, and then we hit that yard. By the end of the night, we had 50,000 burners running on every line in the city. Like, yeah, I hear some wild shit. I'm like, oh, get the fuck out of here with that shit, man. You know, but yeah, all right, I'm ranting again, man. It's hard for me to be nice at this point. Like, for me to tell you this without hurting people's feelings and breaking a couple of eggs, man. It honestly is, and it's hard for me to not go on a long rant. With this one interview here today, this podcast thing I'm doing, just keep in mind I met Ari, and we started off on a 12-year journey of writing graffiti together. I was still smashing the tunnels with lace, still tearing up them tunnels with lace. I was still going in heavy on it. So with that said, I'm gonna show you a bunch of footage of shit I was doing. There's also some footage, I can't find the fucking thing, man. I know I got it somewhere, it's probably under some weird title or something, and maybe I'll find it one day, but it's the 59th Street Bridge, the Queensboro Bridge. I always destroyed that shit, but there's the path where the walk up, and then you got the ramp that comes down. I'd catch that shit, like, yo, it's like 4 or 5 blocks just straight RD. And I haven't until the wall is no more. Like, until you hit the beam and you're over the fucking water. It's like from the middle of 1st or 2nd Avenue, like almost 2nd Avenue, all the way down to York Avenue. Now, I know you guys are in Australia and shit. You're like, what the fuck is that? It's about 3 blocks. It's like 3 city blocks. Just RD. You get the idea. Like one take, and right after the other, man. And that was my machine gun style. I did that a lot. I always did that shit, man. I love doing my machine gun style. I invented that shit. Well, actually, no, that's not true, because Fuzz Fuzz, man. Fuzz from the sevens. He used to do that shit. He did it on the fours. Fuzz, 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 fuzz. But I would do it this way. And arty, 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 down the whole fucking city blocks, man. Yeah, tear shit up like that. That was fun. Yeah, you're going to see some pictures. That's Lace in the picture doing Patrick from SpongeBob SquarePants, you know, Patrick. Yeah, that's one of the little things we did. And you can see we pushed Wild Style and we pushed 357 there. I was actually hanging out with Tracy a lot when we were doing that particular blockbuster. Wild Style was in my mind, you know. Yeah, Tracy, someone was telling me he's not doing too good. I bump into a lot of people, you know, that, hey, RD! You know, they see me and they remember me from my podcast, and I stop and I talk to them. One guy's a good friend with Tracy, and he's telling me, yeah, health-wise, you know, and I'm like, you know, I don't want to sit here blowing up shit, but, you know, Tracy's a good dude, man. Tracy 168, man. I love that dude, man. He's a good guy, man. Yeah, man. Wish him luck, man. You know, he's got some health problems and shit, man. Yeah, I wish him the best, man. Tracy's a good dude, man. Good dude, man. He is graffiti, man. I'll tell you, I'll tell you next time. I was going to tell you some funny story with Tracy. I've actually wrote graffiti with him. I'll get into that, man. That's a funny shit, man. I swear, he was biting the fucking police officers and shit like that. Tracy's salty, man. Yeah, man, Tracy don't fuck around, man. That should have me dying. I got away, man. Yeah, alright, we'll talk about that some other time. But yeah, look at some of these footage. You'll see what me and Lace was doing in the tunnels and what me and RE was doing in the streets. Alright, man. Like I said, I tried to do this video 3 times, man. I just go, man, fuck this dude, that motherfucker. Fuck, man. Like, I was like, nah, I can't do that. That's like stupid. Like, it's almost like Kanye West calling himself a genius or something, you know? And I said, yeah, that's not good. So I tried it again. The same fucking thing happened, but a little less. No, this time here, it's pretty, no problems, you know. I don't look like some maniac stuck in some little fucking apartment ranting and raving. That's good. This one here. So now, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Now we're up to, alright, me and the Guinness Book of World Records. A lot of you guys had mentioned some Philly riders. That's good. I could not find this guy, Cat. That they, Cat's been writing forever from Philadelphia. I could not find Cat. I couldn't find any word or mention of him or even pictures of his graffiti. Now, Disco Duck, I've actually heard of him before. When I was first talking about this shit, people had mentioned, man, I do Disco Duck. He's been around, man, and this, that. And I've done some research on him, and it says he started in 1961 on one of these things, which would be impossible. Because, I mean, the word disc was invented around, I don't know, 1950s, meaning a record, discus, record. And then your discotheque, where you would play this record and dance to it, a building, brick and mortar building, you would play this disc. And people would dance to it. That place became a discotheque. Now the word disco and the form of music disco came from the discotheques. However, I did look and I did learn that Philadelphia was fucking with this disco music before all that. Apparently it hit New York City and the airwaves and the world on Valentine's Day in 1970. There was a discotheque that was opened up. Now, I have cousins and shit like that. I don't know where they are now in the world, but I grew up once, you know, and I had family. And they used to listen to disco, so I'm pretty familiar with disco. Now, there was a song that came out in 1976 called Disco Duck. Now, the person that made that song and sang that song did it in 1976. He currently owns the Cooking Network channel, a channel where you cook food on it. And that's what he does now, currently in 2021, for a living. And he wrote that song and made that song, and that song came out in 1976 called Disco Duck. So now this Disco Duck guy, I don't believe he 1961. I don't believe that. I'm sorry. maybe this thing that I'm reading is a loved one of his, or someone that's just trying to give him props for, or whatever. But I can't believe that. I personally know Cornbread. Before this pandemic, I'd bump into Cornbread once or twice a year at these graffiti meetups. You have Old Timers Day. I mean, he wrote on my coat, Old Timers Day. I have a official MTA jacket. He caught tags on it. And before the pandemic, I'd bump into him all the time. And at these graffiti events, I guess would be the term. I believe he started a little later than 61. I mean, I could ask him one day or whatever, but you guys probably know him better than me, even you can ask him. But Cat, I didn't see anything on Cat at all. And getting back to Disco Duck, he did not start graffiti before Cornbread and Cool Earl, because if he did, you'd be hearing Disco Duck is the first graffiti writer, this and that. You don't hear that. And you also have the song that came out in 1976. So now, did this man that made this song, Disco Duck, make this song about a graffiti writer? No. This song is about people dancing like a fucking duck. And it might be coincidental, like win the lottery, 1 in a million shot, that this man thought up the words disco and duck and put them together to write graffiti, and then in 1976 someone came out with a song called Disco Duck. Maybe they were influenced one way or the other. I don't know, but I do believe the song came out first. This is my opinion. I believe a song came out, Disco Duck, and I believe a dude that wrote graffiti or who was thinking about writing graffiti liked how that song sounded, or it was his favorite song, or maybe the words together or whatever, and he rode around and started writing Disco Duck around 76, 77 or something. That's what I personally think. What do I know? I'm not from Philadelphia. I honestly could hardly read some of that shit that I see that they write in Philadelphia, you know, so I'm no expert on that. And I love Philadelphia graffiti, man. I actually got more respect for it than I do New York City graffiti, to be 100% honest with you. I think they keep it real. You know, they're like, you know, like old school dudes writing graffiti, like not like New York where it's like old school dudes talking about graffiti, writing books about graffiti, but yet they don't want no one else to talk about it or something. Like, it's crazy shit, man. Yeah, that was some weird shit. I honestly do respect Philadelphia graffiti a lot. I don't know, some of the comments, oh, this, that. I got nothing against no one. Man. I'm just simply stating the facts. I would, if someone could prove me wrong, prove me wrong. I beat that dude. Yeah, Disco Duck. And that Cat guy, I really could not find anything about any guy that wrote Cat, whether it was with a K-A-T or C-A-T in Philadelphia. If he did, he definitely didn't write it to the point where you guys are explaining, because there'd be pictures of it somewhere, you know. So maybe you guys are just trying to pull the wool over my eyes and have me do all this research for nothing. So, you know, if you come at me with a name and it's a real name, and, you know, kick it with some backup story to it, you know, like a reason, you know what I mean? What did they do? Where were they from? This, that, you know, and how can this information be obtained? Or, you know, show proof or something, you know. Otherwise, you know, you guys will send me on a wild goose chase. And that's what happened with this guy, Cat. I swear to God, like for hours on end, I looked through the computers, Philadelphia, this, that. I've even gotten in touch with people I know that are from Philadelphia, the graffiti writers. They wrote a while ago, but I mean, maybe they weren't as plugged in, or maybe it's a different part of Philadelphia or something like that. I don't know. But I never heard of that Cat guy. It never came up. Prey is a different story. Now, the person that was scratching that Prey shit and all the metal things, there's an end date to her, because obviously you don't see the shit no more. And I don't know about the beginning date with her, or it, or them, or whoever the fuck that was. I did personally see that shit myself. I mean, I grew up looking at it all through Manhattan, scratched and everything. But I did see it in an airport in Nevada, too, in the 90s. So, I don't know what else to say about Prey. I'm not saying they beat me, or I'm not saying I beat them. It's still up in arms. And then you have Colossus of Rhodes. And then that whole movement, like Bozo Texino and all that shit, the Colossus of Rhodes, posted pictures of him on there. He runs around with a mean streak like this, but they call him grease pants. He draws cowboys on freight trains with them. And all that shit got wiped out when graffiti picked up. There's no more of it anywhere. And that's kind of sad because that shit was cool. And they draw like little, I explained it all in my last video. Watch my last video. I'm not going to get into it now. But you have that guy also that I don't know a begin date or an end date. You know, some people say shit's been going back to the 50s. You know, eternity I beat. Hands down, they got it dated as 35 years. This man wrote on concrete sidewalks for 35 years with chalk. I believe he was a very religious man. Real old. I put pictures of him on my last thing. Him I got beat hands down. Prey and Colossus of Rhodes and Cat, I guess. I don't know. I mean, how, you see, graffiti's a funny thing, but I'll throw them in there. Maybe Cat, maybe Prey, and maybe Colossus of Rhodes. And the only reason I'm saying maybe Cat is because I honestly don't believe it. I don't know. No one's heard of the guy. I've done my research. I've looked for hours on end. And if someone, like graffiti, you know, although you can lie, I got this thing what I call backyard bombers, where these people, they do all this shit in their backyard, take pictures of it, put it on the internet, and then fool people. People honestly think that these people are up a lot. You know, and meanwhile, they're just doing it in their backyard legally, you know. So, I don't know. I don't know what to say, but as far as it goes with this guy, Cat, show me what he did. Send me some, like, pictures of his shit, or a website, or YouTube, or something, a tag of his or something. But other than that, I mean, I won't throw him out the loop, but graffiti, you really can't lie about it. Like, you either saw the shit up all over the fucking place forever, or you fucking didn't see the shit up all over the place. Either the person's lying or they're telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get me? Like, you either see it's daylight out or it's nighttime. You get me? Like, the person, like, to be up that much for that long, there would have to be some sign of their existence. I mean, what are they? Like an Armenian or something, like the first walk of life, like cave drawings from a caveman or something. No one knows about it. You know, we didn't find it yet. I mean, like it's some archaeology, you know, discovery and shit like that hasn't been discovered yet. I don't know, but a Cat, I haven't heard of him. I've asked around it. I've asked some very people from Philadelphia. Now I can't say everyone's got a PhD in graffiti and everyone studies and knows about everything in graffiti, but I don't know, someone would know something about someone somewhere, right? That's my personal opinion. And I don't know, I think I said my personal opinion like 20 fucking times, man. And this really was a hard video to get through. It's just, I mean, it's not hard to talk about the shit, but it's just, it's hard to word it and put it there where you can understand it. And I don't come off like some ranting lunatic, but yeah, that shit was fucked up, man. Like, none of these people played fair, you know, with me with the graffiti. I had a hard climb, man. Like, not only have I been out there that long, but, yo, you can see I've been through some shit, man. Yeah. And it's not even physical fights, really. It's just bullshit. Like, you know, like my ways I was saying before, like me approaching this shit like a bag of hammers. At this point, I had to start using my head. I had to get like Wile E. Coyote out there on their ass, you know. And yo, take care, man. I'm ranting and raving here, but yo, in the picture with Patrick from SpongeBob SquarePants, that's Lance. I mean, that's Lace in the subway tunnel doing that shit, standing on a bunch of buckets. I remember when we did that shit, the fucking train when it came by, actually. You know, we're trying to move the buckets out the way before it came by, and one of the buckets got split. I don't know how it happened, it broke. So, yeah, it was weird. The train like hit it or something. Like, Jesus Christ, like all this wet paint there and everything, and God forbid there was some kind of an accident or something. You'd be like, yo, they did it. Look, that's fresh graffiti. Yeah, I don't know, the bucket cracked, man. It was like, you know, they're like big plastic, like Tupperware almost. Like, you know, like cryo plastic. It's like almost like a fiberglass plastic mix. And yeah, so me and Lace, we were doing a lot of train tunnels, man. A lot of train tunnels, man. We were going through. I was even hitting train tunnels, under tunnels, like in Grand Central Station and shit like that, just so I knew it would be there. Because you always get an accident or some kind of a flood or something, and you don't know. 30, 40 years from now, they have camera crews down there or something, you know. So it's all good. You got about, what, 750 something miles of track. And there's 5 boroughs, yeah, I think it's 700 and something miles of track, if you add it all up. 756 miles, something like that, a track, that's above and underground. Yeah, that's a nice little chunk of real estate. All right, people, chop, chop. Hey, what's up, real quick, you know what I just remembered? I remember where this Guinness Book of World Records shit came from. It was the girl I was staying with, her name was Melissa. And, you know, we had date night. You know, you got your girlfriend and shit. You can't just run around writing graffiti and leave her with kids all the time and stuff. You know, you have to do date night and stuff. So we went to this movie, The 40-Year-Old Virgin. So after that movie was, yeah, that's exactly what happened. We saw that movie, The 40-Year-Old Virgin. And her friends and stuff, I forget what it was. One day they were having like a mothers meetings and stuff where they all hang out together, and, you know, they let the kids, like a play date would be the word for the children, and the parents would all hang out. When I came in to the apartment, this is when I was living up on Hunts Point, and I said, hey, yeah, what's up, this and that. And she said, my 40-year-old graffiti writer. Yeah, like the 40-year-old virgin. That's what started that shit. Yeah. That's how it started. 40-year-old virgin, 40-year-old graffiti writer. Because I was like 37, 38 years old at that point. And that's just like, damn, you know, you're probably the longest running graffiti writer ever. And I was like, probably. And yeah, that's how the whole fucking thing started. 40-year-old virgin. Respect. Jester, Lava, rest in peace. PK Flash, that's boy. Look in the back, there's cornbread.
Here has 3 simple ingredients: organic hops, organic barley, and water. It's organic, but chill about it.
Nick 707, rest in peace.